Hey guys, you're not gonna believe what we found in Sam's hangar while grabbing parts for freedom. It changes everything. So I noticed in the video of Freedom, Sam's airplane we've been working on, they pulled the wings out. In the video, I saw there was 2 old filing cabinets in here. I never saw them because the wings were sitting in front of here. Everything was all covered up. And these filing cabinets have been here forever. So I thought to myself, what's in these filing cabinets? I saw all kinds of folders. One of the folders I found was this folder right here, which is 81 Alpha Delta, AKA the 401, the free abandoned airplane, the Phoenix, 81 Alpha Delta. I got so excited, I thought to myself, I was like, hey, what's the chances the logbooks are in here? I pulled all these files out, I looked through every single inch of both of these, but there was no logbooks. I pulled these folders and I saw that there is a number of signed off paperwork from annuals that were done to the 401. I made a few phone calls and I found out this was a huge find and it literally changes everything. So after finding this paperwork, I gave Joe a call right away. If you guys haven't seen Joe yet, you gotta watch the TB20 resurrecting videos. We were down working on that.
Yeah.
Everything's running good. Good job, Joe. And so Joe is an A&P IA. He's been at it for, was it 30 years?
35.
35 years.
I don't want to talk about it.
Man.
I'm old.
You're that old.
I am old.
You don't look that old.
Here we go.
You don't look that
Plenty
old.
of comments, I'm old.
Joe doesn't look that old, but he's been at it for 35, it's like since you were like 18 then.
Yes.
So like 35 years, a long time. I gave him a call right away. I was super stoked thinking we had logbooks in that cabinet, but guess what guys? We have enough information in this folder, along with some other information we have, we can rebuild the logs.
Yes.
We know what the propeller times are.
Engine times.
We know what the engine times are. We know what the airframe times are. This changes everything. Everything's changed. So look at this. Take a look at this. We got information on stuff that was done at a Hobbs time of 1510.5. It has 1,700 hours of Hobbs on it, and this was in 12.505. This is like, it's an amazing find. I'm so excited. We know what was done
up until
from 05 and back.
It's wonderful.
Which is
it's amazing.
You guys, I mean, and those of you who know. Like, this is like gold. We can legally, per FAA regulations,
recreate them from that.
Recreate the logs. We know what the times are on the 401 Phoenix. We're gonna get it flying. We're gonna restore it. This is a huge find. And guys, guess what? We're not taking the wings off. We found out you can't do that and do the spar straps. You can't do it. It doesn't work. So I'm glad we didn't take them off.
Yeah.
We finally got in touch with someone that does the spar straps and we're in line to have them done, but we gotta fly this airplane down there.
We got some work to do.
We got some work to do. So basically right now,
we better get to work.
We better get to work. I'm really wondering if the gear will work.
We love the gear thing.
I do love the gear.
The gear thing.
It's kind of like,
He wants to get the thing up in the air so it pretends like it's flying.
Well, hey, that's not a bad thing. Oh, man. Woo! Don't forget, we're gonna be at Oshkosh 2022, $7,000 in prizes. And guys, you know what? We're gonna be giving 25 prizes away in the booth at Oshkosh, announcing it Wednesday in a live video, but we're also gonna give 10 people that are on the live prizes as well. Hop over to our Instagram. We have a complete list of what those prizes are. I wanna see you guys. Make sure you guys check us out. We'll be there in the booth Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Grab some merch. Let's get on this.
All right, let's do it.
So I think this is pretty much the first time you've seen the 401, right?
It is the first time I've seen it, and it doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to look. Now, maybe that's because you watched it
well,
and it helped.
We watched it like a number of times,
Okay.
But you know what? It's really in good shape for sitting out for so long.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
There's a little bit of like surface corrosion stuff, but it's all like repairable. It's all clean upable. This is the left engine over here, and we do get to get all this exhaust pieces out. We have to get all these fuel pumps. So like I said, probably 100 times in previous videos, if it's rebuildable, repairable, overhaulable, we're doing it. And now we know what the times are.
So we can really do it.
So we know exactly where it was before we overhauled it. We're still doing the props. We're still doing the engines. We're still doing the turbos and everything else. We're still doing all that, but now we have books to start it with.
You have airframe times. You have an airplane that's real time-wise.
Yeah. Also, like, so we found out when we talked to the company that's going to do the spar strap AD, whenever you detach these big mounting points, the wing is so huge it'll flex. And we were going to pull them off and have them replaced on a stand, and they said if you do that, you will never get it to line back up. The whole wing is going to be twisted differently. You have to do it on the airplane. So we got to fly this thing to where the straps are going to get done. But beforehand, I want to go a little bit above and beyond. We want to eddy current the main spars and make sure that everything is all like perfect. And an eddy current is a test where they run, I guess they run current through the wing, and it shows whether there's a structural issue. Yeah. Guys, we got a ton of work to do. And yeah, Joe, let's take a look at this thing. I know you've never seen it before, so.
I hate black panels. You know you got to paint that up some other color, right?
That's
fun.
That's like a big panel, man. We can put like all kinds of stuff in there. It's huge.
Well, the good part is it just pops right out.
Yeah, I want to take like that whole thing out and all one piece, complete custom. Quad Aspens, 2 on either side, flush mount iPad minis, complete Abaddon stack in the middle, and everything else is getting all replaced. All this stuff, this is all getting wrapped in leather. Joe and I are going to be in here, and I think Joe's going to be bringing a friend of his over as well. We're going to pull this whole panel out, all custom, and just redo the whole thing.
And paint it a different color.
Paint it a different color.
I cannot stand black panels.
What if it's like
gray?
What if it's like carbon fiber?
No.
Oh, come on, Joe.
No, we're just going to paint it.
What if it's red carbon fiber? Come on.
No, I'm not making overlays. We're just going to paint it. Paint it.
I'll talk them into red carbon fiber. I think we could probably get someone that would, you know, make a custom panel for us to fit everything we want.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so if any of you guys work anywhere, can do a custom panel for this, custom overlay, whatever, we'd love to work with you. Reach out to us, Jason at rebuildrescue.com. I'd love to have you guys a part of this project. I really just want this thing to be the best airplane, the best 401. I want it to be like if they built a 2023 Cessna 401, that's what I want this to be. This is awesome. All right, let's get that, let's get out here, see what we got, see what needs work, see what we got, where we got to get it.
Right.
All right, let's go. So now that we discovered all that stuff with the being able to rebuild the logbooks and stuff, we really have to get the AMM out, the Aircraft Maintenance Manual, and we have to go through the checklist for an annual?
Yep, every bit of it.
So we have
probably 10, 15 pages.
So, you know, Joe saw this rudder that was hit by a wrench off the top of a helicopter, allegedly. That's the story. And a 10mm wrench fits right in here. So, so we're going to have to, if you look at this over here, Joe, you can see there's a little bit of a thing here, a little bit of a paint stress here, probably from when this hit. Obviously this needs replaced. What do you think about the rudder itself?
That's probably going to come off too.
So we'll have to pull this off, check it out, make sure it's good. Yep. I can see it flung around at one time this way.
It's probably ended up cracked too.
So a guy reached out to me and said he has one of these.
Wow.
That we can have.
That would be even better. It's easier to replace them than it is to fix them.
Yeah. So I'm going to get to him. He's actually working on like a really cool warbird, like a huge B-50 something. It's crazy. So I think we can replace this, so then that's done. Yeah, so what all do we got to do in that checklist? Like what all, it's like tons and tons of stuff.
Tons and tons. You're going through everything. We got to pull up the rest of the floorboards, rest of the wing panels. We're going to run the flaps up and down, run the gear up and down.
So just a lot of cleanup. Good. Let's go through that list. Let's go ahead and check the flaps. We'll hook the battery back up. We'll get the jacks under it. We'll get the tail weight under it. Get it up in the air. Let's swing the gear.
All right.
no weight on because we do have the engines pulled off, but I still want a nice, heavy and strong tail weight connected to here, because it just makes me feel better.
This does have a nose jack point also.
Yes. Yeah, we have the red ones for that, yeah. All right, we got the battery hooked up. We have the tail weight in place. We have 3 jacks in place. So let's get this thing up in the air. Or do we want to check the flaps while it's on the ground?
Yeah, you might as well do the flaps. Right?
Yeah, let's check the flaps. All right, let's get in here and power it up. See if these flaps work. Master's on. And everything lights up. I still can't believe this Avidyne after sitting out for so long. That's why I think we're just gonna have it gone over by Avidyne and make sure this thing works. I'd love to keep this in here. So here's the flap switch. You guys ready? All right, let's go. You hear the pump working. Are they moving?
Yeah.
All right, let's go all the way down. Did they go down?
Yes, sir.
Going back up. They go up.
Yep.
Going back down.
I was expecting to see worse, but it doesn't look bad at all.
So how do they look?
Not too bad, really, other than the chipmunks that were hanging out.
You can see all the way underneath
spar.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's a
your
rear spar.
There's your rear spar all the way down.
Oh my gosh. Wow, and it all looks good, right?
Yes, looks very good.
That is crazy.
Yeah. This shows that Sam took care of the airplane when he had it.
Well, actually, I talked to Sam, and he said he never washed it once. So what we figure is it kept getting annulled, and it kept getting lube sprayed on it. And he never washed the lube off, so it kept it from corroding.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely got to vacuum all this stuff out. I guess we might as well do that now.
Yeah.
Vacuum this stuff out quick, and then we'll put it back up. We'll come back to these and lube everything up and stuff, but I really want to see.
You want to see that gear go?
I do. I want to see the gear swing. So, I don't know. See if this will reach over the other side. All right, we got the major just amount of like seeds and a little bit of mess that was in these flaps out, just vacuumed them out. We do have Cold Jet coming on board. They're gonna be bringing us a dry ice blaster. So excited. We will spend hours with that dry ice blaster, and we're gonna get like the underside of these flaps and like pretty much every nook and cranny we can get that blaster in. We're gonna blast that thing, and we're gonna get every ounce of dirt and get in there with detail brushes. I mean, it will be 100% clean. So we got the big amount of the mess out. So we'll get those flaps back up and let's get this thing jacked up, see if the gears work. Going back up. So what are we gonna get the sides up a tiny bit and then get the front?
You worry about the front last. You got no engines on the thing, so I don't think it's gonna.
Yeah, right. So what do you guys think? Is this thing gonna, is the gear gonna swing? Is it not gonna swing? I mean, it's been at least 13 years since it's done anything.
She's gonna swing.
All right, that's your vote?
Absolutely.
I think she's going
It was
to.
my vote on the TD20 and it worked.
Oh, this is right. Yeah, and that one sat longer. Man, this is like a high step up here. I need like a stool. All right, let's walk through here gingerly. All right, power on. You ready? Here we go. How's it looking?
It didn't go all the way out the nose anyhow.
And the outsides are good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they work great.
Gears coming down. All right, there's 3 green. It is hot in there. All right, so all the gear doors and everything worked mostly right.
Yes.
So it looks like basically at this point, we do got to get in there. We do got to do some servicing. We'll pull those pieces out. Again, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that we rebuild with this, but the pump works. The linkages are good. Everything's pretty good. We just have a couple things to look at. How far did that swing up in there?
Almost all the way.
Almost all the way.
Like the doors are getting ready to close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit of servicing. We'll get this fixed up. I did see on this that there was some things I want to pull it apart. I want to get them blasted and going over get that front nose rebuilt. But as far as I'm concerned, it was a great test. All right, we got the gear checked out and we know which direction we have to go with that. Again, we're going to pull that all out, rebuild it anyway. But if you guys remember from a number of episodes, someone stopped by from the airport and let us know the story on this tail, how a wrench hit it. And I also heard at one point there was this huge helicopter that flew by a ton of airplanes that were just sitting on the airfield, and it made the control surfaces fly all over the place. It was like a really bad thing. It damaged tons of airplanes. I think this rudder might have been one of the airplanes that was damaged. I believe I saw something in a report somewhere that this airplane was sitting there. So looking at the rudder, you can see it has a couple little marks, stress marks. So let's get this thing off. It definitely looks like it needs some help. If you guys remember, not even long ago, there was birds living in here and they laid eggs. We had to let them hatch and fly out. So I'm sure there's some new bird's nests in there we got to get out also. All right, let me get a screwdriver. We'll get this tail cone off.
So I got a couple new designs, new colors.
Nice.
This is all yellow. This is
That
all
is so
black.
cool. So you guys may have heard, a few times, maybe when we're doing some of our advertisement or commercials and stuff like that, for the companies that support Rebuild Rescue, Dimitri and I have been working really hard on the Rescue Foundation. So we're not going to go into all, everything we're doing, but it's going to be huge. I mean, it's going to be like really huge. So These are some of the logos we're working on, and if you guys see, I mean, we're going to be doing veterans flights, we're going to be doing animal rescues, and we're going to be doing medical flights, and we're also going to be giving away soaring with Stratus. Yeah. So, and I really, you showed up. I wasn't going to tell them yet, but we're going to be giving away flight training, and we're going to be focusing on underprivileged youth.
That's right.
Something you guys don't know about me, possibly, is like I grew up poor. Like really poor, no heat, no food, big family of 5, well, family of 7 with mom and dad, but we were poor and really struggled a lot. So when I met Dimitri, he does a lot with Stratus, and he saw what we were doing with the Rescue Foundation, was like, hey, you know, we need to really, you know, work on everything in a whole, and we're going to be giving away scholarships. So one of you or one of your children, or some in your family, you know, a niece and nephew, you know, might be training with us, might be training with one of our partners. So totally excited about it. These logos are freaking awesome. They look so good. We'll have more of an official release on this stuff, and we also have some cool stuff that has already happened that you guys don't know about, but we're going to show you later.
It's only dirt.
Bird dirt. Let's take a look up here. A little bit of surface rust on that tube going back there. A little bit over here, but it's only surface and it looks good. If you look up in there, you can see the tubes that the elevator hooks to has some surface rust on them, kind of going back through there, which surface rust is definitely an indicator that you need to get in there, get that cleaned off, and you know, get it all coated with some zinc chromate, some really good primer. So we'll end up pulling these off so we can pull those tubes out. We'll clean them all up, we'll get them painted, and we'll put it back together.
Birds are in there too.
One of these days, we're gonna take a panel off of the 401 and it's not gonna have a ton of bird crap in it. So we got that pretty clean. Now we got to get up there. We got to remove the wiring for the strobe, and then we can. Then we got to block off. We actually have to make some blocks for these cables because we need to pinch them right where they're going in We don't want them, you know, going back into the cockpit. So we're gonna make some blocks. I'll show you guys in a little bit to pinch them, and then we'll unhook these cables. We'll unhook the electrical, and we'll unhook the 3 bolts. That's right, folks. 3 bolts holds this whole tail on. I think it's 3, it might be 4, but they're like 1/4 inch little bolts. This is actually where the birds made their nest. There's some big holes in the bottom of this thing. They're like this big, but they're clogged up with bird nests, and I think they've been clogged up for a number of years with bird nests. So interestingly, as I'm getting on the ladder to try to get up to the top of the tail, realizing I would pretty much need a lift. I mean, that thing is 12 feet up there, I think, about 12 feet high. I realized without the engines, this 401 is pretty much balanced almost 100% on the mains. And what I'm thinking is I can pull this tail stand and I could get something to put under the fuselage and actually get it down pretty much on the ground, and it'd be a lot easier to work on, and I could get right to the tail. And then when we're done, we can just lift it right back up, or yeah, we'll probably have to lift it right back up because I got to work on the left engine cradle assembly next. Let's see if we can do it. So this is what the 401 looks like when you're really taking off. Oh man. Oh my gosh, that is so cool looking. Yeah, so if you guys remember when we were going down the runway at one time, I think if I wouldn't have been telling Sam to slow down, that's what it would end up looking like. This is much more manageable to work on. Let's take a look and see what we have to disconnect to get this thing off. If you look here, whatever this wire is, at one point it got hot and it melted. It looks like it melted the insulation. Yeah, so here, if you look at the insulation of the wires here, yeah, it's just time to replace them. That's nice and secure. I think we're gonna have to replace that too. So the next thing we gotta do is we gotta make those wood block clamps to clamp these cables down up where they go through the fuselage. And the reason that you have to do that is there's tension on these cables, and you really don't wanna lose tension. I mean, we're doing so much work to the 401 that it may not be a big deal, but I'd rather just clamp them so they're clamped in case, you know, we don't have to like remove them or something like that, you know, out of the fuselage. So, you know, kind of normal practice, clamp them down, and then that way when you put the control surface back on, they hook right up, they have the same tension, and they're good to go. Let's go to the hardware store. I think it's the Home Depot aviation department is what Sam calls it. And we'll get some supplies and we'll make some block clamps. we got our blocks made, and what happens with these blocks, if you've never seen them before, you get a cable in here and you just pinch it down and make sure this is up against the stop, and it'll keep those cables from going back in, so you can unhook them, and it's a lot safer too. There's no cables whipping around anywhere. We don't like cables whipping around, it's bad. They're set. So that should hold both of those cables in place, and we can release the tension and get this rudder off. So that's what happens to airplanes from 1969 when they sat for a while. They get a little rusty, they get a little stuck. All of these little screws, little nuts, little bolts, little washers are all getting replaced. I'm gonna break out the vacuum now that we can get out a little bit more and get some of this other stuff out. The tail actually smells like fresh bird crap, because if you guys remember from a previous video, we had visitors that got into the hangar and made a new nest in here. Probably the parents were probably raised here a couple years ago out on the other side of the airport. But if you look right here as we were pulling apart, we noticed this bearing was froze, but this was actually cracked out of here. Again, we got a replacement rudder for this, so no big deal. Just gonna put a new one on. But boy, was that a pain to get off. Get this panel off so we can take a look in here.
That is crazy.
Like, how did they even get in here? There's no access in here. Ah, right here. So there's two holes. There's two holes up top here, and they made a bird condo.
It's a bird castle.
Oh my gosh. Story of my life lately. What do you do for a living? I vacuum bird crap. That's not even working. I need a trash can. So this tail, as far as I can tell, is full. From here to at least here, possibly down to here. And there's no, other than this access hole, there's no way to get inside this tail to get all this stuff out. So we're gonna have to pull this out little by little, and then we're gonna have to clean it out as best we can, and then we're gonna have to scope this whole tail and see if there's any other bird crap stuck in the tail, because you really can't, you can take the tail off, but that would be weeks of work and drilling rivets out and stuff like that. So it's really cleaning it up the best you can and then inspecting it for corrosion and stuff like that. The cool thing is all of this bird mess is very, very dry. So, which is a good sign. We got most of the bird crap, and I'm calling it bird crap from here on out. Actually, I should call it bird. So we got all the bird out of the tail. I'm so annoyed with all this bird stuff. Every airplane that we touch seems to have a ton of it. It is starting to get to me a little bit, but it's all cleaned out. We got the rudder off. We are gonna take the elevators out yet. They have to come out before you paint them. All of the surfaces need cleaned up. We need to put new bolts in. We need to put new bearings on. So like all the wings, that's gonna happen to all the wings. You know, and it also opens up areas for inspection, for corrosion and stuff like that. And I can't wait to get that ice blaster. There's gonna be like an ice blasting party in here, and we are gonna blast and clean this thing up. But the good news is, as I'm looking at it, everything looks salvageable. We're gonna get the tail of the airplane back up. We're gonna put the tail stand under it, and we're gonna get up to the left engine cradle assembly, and we're gonna pull all those exhaust systems, the rest of the exhaust out, and all the other components, because we have an appointment with the overhaul shop.
Ready?
Yep. Keep going.
I just didn't want it to go too fast.
All right, so the flaps work. We swung the gear. We found a couple issues with the gear. We got the tail all apart. We pulled the rudder off, and we got probably another 20 pounds of bird crap out of the tail. We have a new rudder coming. We have a new trim tab coming. We have new control surface bearings. And now we're gonna dig in over here because I gotta get the exhaust off. I gotta get all these other components off because the overhaul shop got a hold of us and they said, look, get these in here. We got a spot for you. There's an AD that we have to send all these exhaust components out to make sure that they pressure test properly. If they don't pressure test, we have to get replacements. So we want to get on that. We want to send them out. We want to send all these components out. There's a ton of the components that are 8 or 9 months out from being able to be done. And now that we can rebuild the logs, all the plans have changed. So I'm going to dig into this, get this done. Guys, make sure you guys stop out at Oshkosh 2022 coming up at the end of July. We're going to be in the Avidyne booth. We are going to be in the Aspen booth. And we have that $7,000 giveaway. And we're also going to be giving away on a live feed, we're going to be giving away cash and prizes to 10 of you on the live feed right from Oshkosh. So make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday. Go to our Instagram. All the information is there. Also, it helps us out a bunch. Like the videos, subscribe, post some comments, say hi. See you at Oshkosh.